which has to do with looking at the institute scheme of service, and that is one area where we haven't made any success. We have actually set up a committee. They came up with the scheme of service. Scheme of service has been sent to head of service. Head of service is still looking at it. So that is where we are with that. And I believe that if the ICPC visits the place, we will hear. After all, we are supposed to have heard whether this is accepted or not accepted. Okay, and we got. Well, I believe that. So this is the 2017-2021 that we just finished. And all the black areas are areas that we have achieved. The red ones are the areas where we have not been able to make any significant effect. And this other one, what's the color now? Purple, okay, is the one we have made in the last 1 year. All right? So you will see, I don't want to waste our time by going through it one by one. But I'll just go to those red ones, which have to be a carryover to 2022. Engage policymakers, lawmakers, and stakeholders to review the act that established the institute. Each time we talk about this, some people ask us, what does it matter? We are actually National Institute of, I hope this is not corruption. We are actually National Institute of Medical Research, but we bear Nigerian Institute of Medical Research. So if they take us to your court, we will say we are not the one, because we are National Institute of Medical Research. But that's not good for us. And that has been happening because recently we are to get a grant. And now they are asking us to send them our acts. So I have not been able to do that. I've answered all the remaining questions, and they are waiting for it. Otherwise, they will not release the grant. And it's not a small grant. It's not like how we should do this. So I had to contact the Honorable Minister of State for Health to tell him that he has to write us a letter to explain why we are Nigerian Institute of Medical Research, so that we can add that to the act and send to them. I hope that I will get that letter today so that I can answer the people. But this will be the second or third time that we're going to have that issue. So we really need to get the act changed, whichever way. The barrister, is the barrister in the house? So he is doing some work on it to help us craft it so that we can send it to. We have indeed sent it several years since in the last 5 years. So that's a major problem for us as it is. But it wasn't created by the institute. It was created by, I think, I would say the executive. And we have done all that we can. But this time around that I've made direct case to the Honorable Minister, maybe if we set it, we will get something to. So under thematic area 3, pursue opportunities to collaborate with university to award academic certificates. Perhaps we should remove that, because we are a research institute. We are not a certificate awarding institution. Some people suggested that to us about 5 years ago, that we could work with universities and co. That's where we started with adjuncts. And we now have adjuncts from universities all over Nigeria. But I'm not too sure we should be going into this, because we are not even able to make any progress in that. Then the number 7 of thematic 3, I've mentioned that produce number specific scheme of service. We have issues as health institution. Sometimes they don't see, they think, I don't know, they think hospitals alone are the health institutions. Whereas we are Institute of Medical Research. And some funny guys in the ministry will say, why are you giving the doctors call duty? What are they doing there? Well, if you don't know, you should ask. Most medical people are being denied the allowances they should get because they are not working in the hospital. Whereas we are, in fact, we can create hospital by research. We can say that where you put needle is not where you should be putting it any longer because we found out that it's wrong. So we are really the original. We originate what they use in the hospital, but they don't see us as that. And that is one of the reasons why we are clamoring for a specific scheme of service. Next one, please. Quickly, after this, it will be all pictures. Next, you know. Oh. So now again, you will see that virtually we have achieved almost all the goals that we set out, except strategic resource mobilization number 5. Explore possibilities of endowment. We are still talking to people, but we have been able, if you look at number 3, establish networks for private sector funding. We have registered the Nimr Research Foundation, and we have launched it recently. Dr. Shubhani will be talking to us very soon, maybe tomorrow, on what progress we have made. I think I have one slide here that summarizes that. So this is the 5-year strategic plan with 5 thematic areas, and you can see that we have achieved virtually all the goals that we have set for ourselves, and the ones that we haven't been able to achieve, we will carry over some of them to next one. So tomorrow, when we are discussing the new strategic plan, you will see the contents. So next, so like I said, we did more of COVID in the last 1.5 years. And we've always said that government is not doing enough. But I can say on this occasion, government has done very well. It's not because we are working for government. When government didn't give us money, we used to say so. But for this COVID, we cannot say so. Our government supported all health institutions, all, without anyone left out, so that we can all prepare for COVID in terms of laboratory diagnostics and co. We got a lot of money from them. We got about 3 billion from government, and so government is hard to, and we should also tell it, because it's we who says they didn't do this. So the day they do it, we should also say government did this, so that people can know. And next, please. So what we have done with those funds during the COVID era was first to establish a drive-through when we discovered that people are not getting places to test themselves in Lagos. This was established in May 30th, and it's still running as I speak. I got a report yesterday that the place is getting crowded again, meaning the 4th wave has started. We all have to be careful. Those vaccines are working, but the latest variants have the ability to escape your immune response. So people have breakthrough infection, and that means don't say that, oh, I've had 2 doses. You can be misbehaving and forget to. I think we should start avoiding crowded areas now. Otherwise, in the next 1 month, you will see that the number would have tripled. So we've been doing this since May 30th, free, and we have tested at least 41,000. This is something that people like Professor Odigwe have been nurturing over the past few years. We thank God again for intervention. because we never have been able to complete this. And now we've completed it, we have moved into it. I've asked Professor Omilabu to come and see the DG's office. So we have befitting administrative building for our institution, and people are happy to work there, and everybody seems to be happy to be associated with this. All of these are courtesy of government. Next one. And so from our drive-through, we are able to predict the waves of the infection. And you can see the 3 waves that we have experienced in Nigeria. If we plot the last 2 weeks report, that line that goes down will probably turn up by now to show that a 4th wave has already started. This is how we know from that field. It's our scientific field, and we have monitored and followed. For every wave we have predicted it, we knew that it has started. Just as the 4th has just started now. By the time we have 2-3 more weeks plot on this, you will see the 4th wave coming up. So that place, that's the reason why we kept it. We have been finding it difficult to maintain it, but we thought that for this period, we just have to keep it going, because COVID is still with us. And if we prematurely stop that, we will have to rush back to the place. Next one. Next. Then, of course, we joined with NCDC, University College London, the USCDC, to do what they call sero-epidemiology studies. For COVID, we looked at people in Lagos. We have Sokoto data that has not been part of this, but it only showed that a lot of Nigerians already developed antibodies to COVID. Lagos at the time, that was the time of first wave, 22.9%. 20 million people, 22.9% of them should be around 4 to 5 million. And we still have less than 300,000 on NCDC active table. So if we are not dying so much, I believe one of the reasons is that a lot of us have gone through and we have the virus, the antibodies to the virus. Although it's disappearing, that's why people are getting second infection. Even with the vaccines, it wanes after some times. I don't think it lasts more than a year or thereabout. So people can get second infection. Now I believe it's been approved that Nigerians can have a booster dose. So if you are 60 years and above, and you see where you can have a booster dose, go and have it. It's something that we will have to contend with for some more time. Next one. So during the period, we had developed 2 test kits. That was in 2020. But we developed 2 test kits. We developed an RNA kit and a DNA extraction kit. And we duly recognized all the inventors at the time. Next one. But this time around, this was also this was celebrated at the last retreat, December. So next one. So during the COVID era, we were still battling with Lassa and yellow fever. And so we again went back to the lab and developed a Lassa fever diagnostic kit next, and then a yellow fever diagnostic kit. They are sensitivity at 75–88%. We are currently improving them as it is. But the sensitivity is 100% for both of them. We started from somewhere. I'm sure within the next, maybe by January, we would have added a second gene, and then this sensitivity will be much better than this. But at least this is good enough for people to start using them, especially during the outbreak. And I must thank Professor Omilabu, who has been our partner for all the test kits that we have developed. The first lab we sent it to is his lab. Tell us whether what we said is doing is what he's doing. And once he says, yes, they agree with us, we are able to put them to the public. I welcome Professor Akamu. And then, of course, this study is still ongoing. It's funded by the CDC Foundation. It was brought about because of lack of ventilators in Nigeria, and some guys have adapted the hood with CPAP, and we tried it in 8 hospitals in Nigeria. We found it to be very useful. And during the COVID era, a lot of them, apart from the young lady there, which is the training photograph, the remaining are real life photographs. They were treated with the hood and they all got better. Next one. Then, of course, this was the next generation sequencer. Lately, we have acquired what they call a main ion, which is a 4th generation sequencer that can be taken to the field and can be used in some other peripheral general hospitals where they have the skills. This is what the government is proposing now for most, they are trying to create sequencing centers all over Nigeria. And they are proposing that, I think the Ministerial Advisory Committee has proposed that they should get the main ion. We have 2 now in Nimr, and in fact, we don't just have them, we have been using them to do sequencing. Next. Now, I am trying to make some clear statements on this picture. Again, we must thank Professor Milabu, who gave us the sample. This is the phylogenetic tree drawn after we sequenced the index case of COVID-19 in Nigeria. And I'm saying this for the purpose of clearing issues. Yes, we produced a collaborative report on that case, but the first institution ever in Africa that sequenced COVID-19 in Africa, not in Nigeria, in Africa, is the Nigerian Institute of Medical Research. I will say that yes, we work with other institutions, we work with Aegis in Ede. We work with Professor Milabu's lab. Of course, he gave us the sample, and NCDC, and then the Lagos State, who also own the samples. And all the 4 produce one report because it's the same patients. The Aegis in Ede sequenced the virus after Nimr. After Nimr. But Nimr was the first to do that and was the first to upload these in the gene bank. It can be visited, it can be checked out. I'm saying this because sometimes people arrogate that to other people. We are not in contention, but it's just nice to put history in proper perspective. The Nigerian Institute of Medical Research is the one and only the first institution to sequence a COVID virus in Africa. Thank you. So that's the phylogenetic, and that has been published. So it's not just submitted, it's also been published. Next. Don't worry, I will soon done. It's using style to show me. Again, all the sequences that we have done, you can see all the lineages, in the different lineages. But if you see the one in the middle, the one that the WHO use, we've seen alpha, beta, gamma, delta, kappa, epsilon, eta, iota, lambda. I don't know whether the last sequence will find any Omicron. They are not, we haven't seen, they are repeating it. So I'm sure by the time that finishes, we'll probably have 1 or 2 Omicron cases. It's already flying around. I don't think we should. So next one.
At this house, I beg to stand on the existing protocol that we have been observing. Just a very quick one. I believe that this House will agree with me that from the presentation we have seen this morning shows that somebody has done something. And we had a Servicom, which has to do with service delivery. We had the permission of the National Coordinator of Servicom to present to our DG to recognize it. So since we have our former Director General here with us, we will beg him and request him to, on behalf of the National Coordinator of Servicom, to present this.
Professor Abatunde Salako, Director General NIMR. On behalf of Sadicon NIMR, this award is presented to you for your marvelous achievements in NIMR in the past 5 years.
Thank you very much.
Objectives of organization, as you said, as you rightly said, we have to know the organization goals and values. Accountability framework is a longer process, and it should start to know the goals and value of the organization, and then SOPs. And from these SOPs, we will come with deliverables and indicators. And then you have to monitor these indicators, and then we can take action. I want to tell you, during our committee panel, when we need to recruit staff for WHO, or when we need to make extension of contract of any staff, it's not only we rely on the technical capacity of staff. Yes, technical capacity is very important, but the competences like teamwork, respectful workplace, integrity, all the things. So we have taken very strong decisions with some staff which are not comply with this very important value of the organization. That's what I want to say, so thank you very much again.
Men and women given the opportunities to serve in different capacity compromise the quality of the system. When you compromise the quality of anything, it might lead to the death of another person. That brings me to the topic of accountability. What is accountability? What do we understand by the term accountability? Many people think of accountability in terms of what it is not. Trying to catch employee doing something wrong, rattling out co-workers, or laying down a strict set of rules administered with punitive approach. Accountability in workplace is all about setting and holding people to a common expectation by clearly defining the organization's mission, vision, values, and goals. If you have defined this, you can now have a chance to say someone is accountable or someone is not accountable. If you have not done that, how do you know that somebody is not doing what is expected of him? It means all employees are responsible for their actions, behavior, performance, and decision. It's about ownership and initiative. This means that when an employee says they will do something, they follow through and get it done. Taking ownership at work is about initiative and doing the right thing for the organization. It's about taking responsibility for results and not assuming it's someone else's responsibility. We do that a lot in this country. It's not my responsibility. Accountability is an assurance that an individual organization will be evaluated on their performance or behavior related to something for which they are responsible. In public sector, accountability means the government official should respond to the demands of citizens and justify the source and utilization of public resources put at their disposal. Now, this is part of the difficult times for public servants. When you call them to account for the money given to them, you see them running around. We went for system studies in one MDA. See the way they were running around. They can even provide vouchers for money spent. They pay money to people. They don't put names. They don't. Nobody signs. If accountability is absent, impunity takes the free rein, and this damages the workforce. The poor culture of accountability and transparency in discharging official duties appear to have created opportunities for corruption accompanied by its attendant negative consequences, leading to wanton diversion of the abundant natural resources and the wealth of Nigeria by privileged few, and thus throwing the nation into a state of comatose. When people are not accountable, one person's delay becomes the team's delay. One shortfall snowballs into a bigger snowball, a bigger shortfall. Tolerating missed deadlines, lack of punctuality, unfinished work have the tendency to make this so. People learn that the real deadline is a week from published one. When you tell them they're supposed to hand in a project by Monday, they're expecting you're talking about the next Monday. And that's not how work is supposed to be done. For you to be accountable, you have to do things when it's expected of you. People even think that consistently being 10 minutes late for a meeting is the norm. That subpar work is accepted. Your team suffers and ultimately the work culture suffers. All of us have this as a problem. You set a meeting by 9 o'clock. Sometimes they invite us for an event. They say 10 o'clock. We get there 5 minutes to 10, they are setting up. They are still hanging banners. And that's the culture in Nigeria. And that's nothing can be achieved if we're not diligent. Having a member of the staff that is not meeting their commitment and is not being held accountable causes frustration and disengagement in the rest of the team. According to partners in leadership, the lack of accountability in workplace leads to low self-morale, unclear priorities across the staff, employees become less engaged, the staff is not meeting goals, and low level of trust. If you're not accountable, you're not reliable, you can't be trusted. And there should be punishment for every infraction. If you set example with someone, others will take correction. Your institution is saddled with the responsibility of conducting research into communicable and non-communicable diseases of public health importance in Nigeria in the bid to provide knowledge and treatment guidelines, as well as recommend ways to prevent such diseases. You're also responsible for developing structures for the dissemination of research findings and providing the enabling environment and facilities for health research. In carrying out these responsibilities, there is a strong need to provide services in a way that maximizes efficiency and promote transparency, accountability. The 6 steps to accountability: 1 is self-honesty. The second one, value others. 3rd, keep records. The fourth one is take responsibility. Do the right thing, the fifth one, and act promptly with care. The importance of accountability. Accountability bolsters your organization's culture. When an organization is embedded in honesty and transparency and integrity, it enables people to acknowledge mistakes without fear of blame and to work with the team to reflect, learn, and move forward positively. The second one, it improves your employees' individual performance. It promotes engagement and ownership. If you see a work, if you don't see your work, it's a government work, you can walk in anytime, you can do anyhow, then you're not accountable. Accountability results in stronger adherence to compliance. Accountability is crucial when it comes to staff being compliant with both established and new guidelines, laws, regulations, and standards. This brings me to what integrity is and why it's important in the workplace. Integrity is a critical component in virtually every aspect of existence, from infrastructure to relationships, from nature to medicine, from education to leadership. When integrity is compromised, the entire entity is jeopardized. Integrity engenders trust and builds confidence and stability. Sincerely, nothing can be relied upon if there is no integrity. Acronym of integrity. I stands for initiative, N stands for nurturing, T for teamwork, E for excellence, G stands for giving 100%, 110% when no one else will know. R stands for respect, I stands for intelligence, T stands for true, and Y stands for you. When you put it together, you mean if we take initiative, nurture others, be team players, strive for excellence, give 110%, respect each other, know our jobs and be true to ourselves and each other, while keeping integrity at the forefront of our actions, we will achieve soundness and completeness in our personal and professional lives. Integrity means being honest and having strong moral principles. Strong, they didn't pay for a product. A friend was saying that it was their carelessness that they didn't calculate it well. He wasn't even planning to go back and pay anything. He does that. If you're supposed to do your work, do it well. Rather than you undercharged him and expecting him to go back and pay. But if you're a person of integrity, you actually do it. Sometimes it takes nothing to be a person of integrity. It helps people to trust you. It helps your conscience to even be clear. Sometimes when you commit some things you do, you're looking over your shoulder all the time. When they say, that some people took something from the office, you're already scared. You don't know because you don't know if it's you. You're always doing that. You don't know which one you've taken. So, but if you do the right thing, even if they say they are going to suspend or fire 5 people for something, you're not even bothered because it can never be you. Integrity is when our behavior matches our beliefs. It is when what you say and what you do match up. You have integrity when your private life and your public life aligns. What does it mean to have integrity at work? Integrity in the workplace is the same as it is outside the workplace. Nobody can lure you into doing something unethical. It's not part of you. You don't feel comfortable doing it. The only difference is that integrity at work supports an organizational set of moral standards. That is why your core values, many of them, if you can live up to that, the workplace will be a better place. You move the organization forward, and at large, you move the country forward. We should stop the blame game. Workplace integrity is vital to decision making, serving customers, managing employees. It's also crucial to reducing costly errors, avoiding corrupt practices, and keeping the organization's core values top of mind. 5 ways to demonstrate integrity in workplace: respect others' opinion, address conflicts honestly and respectfully, be a role model, be ready to work, and report unethical behavior. Having integrity at work means you are reliable and dependable. You are trustworthy, especially with classified information. You practice and encourage open communication with your co-workers and managers. You have strong work ethics and strive to produce high quality work consistently. You are responsible for your action. You make sound decisions even under high stress situation. You are equipped to provide high quality service to your customers. That's what having integrity at work means. Why is integrity is important is it promotes better leaders. It helps foster open and positive work environment. It promotes an ethical approach to decision making, encourages diversity, equity, and inclusion. It promotes strong and resilient teams, actively builds and maintains trust. Framework to entrench integrity in workplace. To entrench integrity in the workplace, the employee and employer should demonstrate personal character traits that facilitate thoughtfulness and effective participation by demonstrating commitment to prompt service delivery, recognizing and rewarding role models, staff who distinguish themselves with good conduct are to be rewarded. Monitor compliance regularly. Ensure that punishment for infractions is appropriate and equitable. Not when people commit, you select your own people and you don't punish them. You punish other people. That's not integrity. Most of the infractions in the public service is due to the fact that public servants lack integrity and they allow themselves to be driven by greed and discontentment. In the process, they contravene the sections of the ICPC Act 2000. Some of the offenses and punishments in the Act, Section 8 of the ICPC Act, accepting gratification by officials. You're liable to go to prison for 7 years. Giving or accepting gratification through an agent, 7 years imprisonment. No, Section 9, corrupt offers to public. When you offer bribes to public officers, you're liable to 7 years imprisonment. When you demand, as a public servant, you demand corrupt demands by person, 7 years imprisonment. Section 12 says fraudulent acquisition of property, 7 years imprisonment. We like this 7 years. Fraudulent receipt of property. Okay, this one is 3 years. Deliberate frustration of investigation by the commission, 7 years. When there is an investigation going on and you're involved, and instead of coming out with the whole truth, you're frustrating the investigation, you're liable to go away for 7 years. Making false statements or returns in respect of money or property received, 7 years imprisonment. Bribery of public officers. Okay. Using office or position to confer unfair advantage to oneself, relation or associate. 5 years without the option of fine. Bribery in relation to auctions. 3 years imprisonment. Dealing with using, holding, receiving, or concealing gratification. 5 years imprisonment. Making false statements to the commission. 2 years or 100,000 fine. The last one is willfully making false petition. When you don't like your DG's face and you go and write to their commission that he did something you did not do. That one has the highest offense. 10 years imprisonment. Because you've wasted the taxpayers' money leading the commission to go and investigate something that didn't happen. You will go away for 10 years. So what is expected of Nimr? You are enjoined to lead by example, by leaving a vote board and providing the necessary leadership to your subordinates. Ensure that every piece of legislation guiding the operations of the organization, the public service rule, the financial regulation, and the other extant rules that guide your operations are complied with fully. It's when you don't comply with these rules, that is when you contravene the sections of the Act. When you're supposed to have permission to spend money like virement, you take money from one vote to the other without authorization, you go away. It's the right thing you're doing. You take money that is meant for fueling, you take it to go and do another thing. It's the right thing you've done, but the government says you should not do it. So you have to comply. That one is 2 years. You need to collaborate with the ICPC in the fight against corruption. In conclusion, having integrity in the workplace is essential to building trust with colleagues, superiors, and partners. Good behaviors can be hard to enforce, but if you avoid accountability, everything else will become a lot harder to. Invest in holding yourself, your staff responsible for the actions you take.